Hey everyone, this is Different Spectrums Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Nazir Zerka. Go by Dr. Naz, licensed clinical therapist, social worker, group therapist, public speaker, and all that other crazy shit. I am humbly and excited to bring you onto the podcast to listen to us. We've got tons of pods. You can go back and look at our catalog with tons of beautiful guests, awesome guests, intelligent guests, magnificent people. Go check those out. But moving forward, I will be your host and only host, and really excited to bring you a new era of more personable, more self-help, more things to educate and bring to life the characters, movies, and shows in which we were originally supposed to do. So much appreciation for you guys following, listening, paying attention. Please like, share, so we can spread the word, so folks like me that are very authentic can get more clicks, likes, and just more people to listen and hear. I also want to bring attention to the intro, all the resources that we have in the link tree. Please go check those out. Remember, tons of free worksheets for you, friends, other therapists. There's assessments for ADHD, autism, anxiety. There's couples related stuff. There's coloring related stuff. It's all free. And plus I have a massive list of athletes, for those of you that love sports, of folks that have mental health related issues that have been collecting that. It's over 60 pages long. And I've been doing it for about 6 or 7 years now. So much appreciation, much love. And thank you for rocking with me. Enjoy the show, enjoy our guest, or just enjoy me running my mouth about whatever we're talking about today. Much love, y'all. And remember to take care of yourselves. And if you don't, we'll get you there. We'll get you there, homie. Peace.
Arise, Maul, reborn son of Darth Maul.
Brother. Brother. My legs. They have been restored by Mother Talzin.
It has been so long, and my path has been so dark. Darker than I ever dreamed it could be.
And yet you survived.
Of course I've survived. My hatred kept my spirit intact, even though my body was not. Yet I was lost and became a rabid animal. And such is how you found me, brother. Discarded, forgotten. I have missed so much. The Force feels out of balance.
Yes, there is conflict. The Clone Wars.
Oh, yes. So it began without me.
You can begin again, brother.
I was apprenticed to the most powerful being in the galaxy once. I was destined to become so much more. But I was robbed of that destiny by the Jedi, by Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Then you must have your revenge, my brother.
Yes, we shall start with revenge.
No. There is no surrender for you. The Emperor wants you dead. And yet I showed him loyalty. He wants you dead. Silence! Brother! Brother!
Brother, don't go. Please don't go. Savage. No. Sidious. Don't go. I must, my brother.
Stop there! What have you done to my brother? Answer me, you monster!
Your fetish is feeble, my young apprentice. Now, take it me. You must have been
Don't leave me here, master. Left to die. Help me! Help me!
Is that you, brother? You must have your revenge. My home, my family, my brother, all taken from me. Sidious, you did this to me.
You did this to me! You did this!
I'm sorry. It's all right. It's all right. I won't let him do this to anyone else. We must go.
No! I will kill them!
You are not yet strong enough. But I will train you, and we will have our revenge.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay, everyone, we're back and we're live, and I'm Dr. Nas, licensed clinical therapist, social worker, group practice owner, all that other good stuff. And today we're going to actually lock in and talk about Darth Maul. I'm sure a bunch of you seen me post things on Instagram because the new show came out, The Shadow Lord, and he's one of my favorite characters. He's just mean, demonic, vengeful, hateful, and just extremely just a ton of energy. And people fall in love with the character for many different reasons, but it's because of the aura that he gives off, right? The violence that he gives off, but also a lot of the other damaging things that are in it, and the love that he has for like his family. And so we're going to get into that in a second. So before we get into all that stuff, obviously you know what the pod is, who we are. I am giving away a 3D printed Darth Maul saber, and you're more than welcome to enter this in the sweepstakes, the raffle, to get this. So if you want a saber and you want to go into the raffle for the break apart Darth Maul saber that I 3D printed, it takes about 22 hours. I will be giving away either this one, the original one, or the Shadow Lord one that you see on a lot of the shows. So I'm giving away that. I do need you to comment saber, or you can comment Maul saber, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And I also need you to tag 2 people on that post. So you'll tag 2 people on that post. You got to make sure that you follow me, you like the post, and then you comment saber. So if you can do those things, I want you into the raffle, and then I'll just put it in like a little sequence, and then we'll just pick one, and then I'll ship it to you by, within the 30 days. I'll try to get it to you. I'll be going on vacation here soon, but so from now on for the podcast, I will be giving out 3D related things moving forward. And so all of you are more than welcome to join moving forward. You just have to tag 2 people, comment saber, or whatever else I tell you to put in, and then we're going to go into the raffle. So we will be giving away this. I'm going to be playing with this damn thing the entire time. It does spin apart and come apart because it's the dual saber of his. So I will be messing around with that today. So as we get into this character, today we're going to talk about many different things. So today's podcast will actually be about hatred, anger, trauma, and how hatred and anger can be something that manifests and courses through you because of things that you've been through, how you've been taught, how you've been manipulated. It could be genocide that's happening in your country. It could be multiple different things that pervert your mind into being more rageful, more intense. I do not believe, and then statistics will show that the humans are not just angry as shit and just horrible, murderous people. That's not a thing. There's like the 1% of the population that does fall into that category. Most humans are going to be pretty good, pretty innocent. We're going to talk about Darth Maul and how he started very innocent and just got poisoned by Darth Sidious. We're also going to talk about the trauma scene that is in the episode and the new show, specifically because of the flashbacks in it and the post-traumatic stress in it, but also surviving, keyword surviving off of like this hatred. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about also trying to help you get out of that, emotional regulation, what that looks like, why one does it, get you to question your thoughts, feelings, and emotions when you are angry. Is it that thing that's just in the moment, or is it a bunch of things that have happened over time, and that's why you're tweaking the hell out on someone or yourself? And then counteracting that, right? Trying to identify it, pause for a second, and then continue to do better and continue to process your emotions, thoughts, and feelings, and then be more cognitive with things. That way you're not lashing out on folks physically or emotionally or verbally. So that's kind of the vibe today. Anger, hatred, PTSD, how to regulate, and we're going to go from there. Okay. So for those of you that are with me now, you've already got all the breakdown for the Saber stuff. We're going to do a little breakdown on who the fuck this guy Maul is. I know I got a lot of girlies that watch me, and I know a lot of my clients will be watching this. So maybe you don't know much about Darth Maul. It's completely fine. I'm going to give you a smidge of a rundown on why the hell I even picked this scene, and why I like this character, and why all my clients and my girlies are so sick of me sending Darth Maul gifts. And now I've officially been named Chud Maul. It's like a little fat character. They say Chud's endearing. It's not endearing. You Google what Chud means, and it means like you're a fat, lazy, loser, degenerate, idiot. And I'm like, so this is what you guys think of me. I wonder if this saber works. It doesn't work. I wish it did. So I am officially Chud Maul for this episode. So as Mr. Maul, Darth Maul, I'm going to go ahead and read some stuff just like I did for the Loki episode, just to catch people up on kind of what's going on. He was born on Darthmere, which you'll hear. It was this Knight Brotherhood, and there's a ton of brothers that are on this planet, and they all got the same like demon-looking horns and vibe and face, skin tone, whatever the hell you want to call it. A lot of the dudes are red that you'll see. His brother ends up being a yellowish version, but he was taken from his home planet at a young age, which you're going to see in the clip, and you saw in the clip. Then he was raised and manipulated by Darth Sidious, also aka Palpatine, the Emperor, the ruler, the Grand Poobah, the main guy. Also, he lets him die, Darth Maul, so then Darth Vader can become like the next in line, the number 2. Never really allowed to develop his identity, childhood, or emotional attachment to anything. Conditioned to become a weapon instead of a person. Trained through pain, isolation, violence, humiliation, and hatred. Was taught that emotions like anger, revenge were a source of power. Grew up believing that love, softness, and vulnerability were weaknesses. So that's intense. There's no way any human is going to be like a stable human that grew up like that. I don't give a shit if you use an alien or no matter what. A child, if you are taught that all the goodness in life and all the happiness and joy are horrible, weak things, you're going to be fucking weird. If you're taught that through pain and isolation and humiliation, if some of you have felt that way or have been trained or your parents have molded you by that, if you're listening to this pod, I mean, that's awesome that you've made it out of that, because I'd be really surprised if that's your molded. I assume you'd be deeply fucking traumatized if that's what it was. As we go down, we see obviously this traumatized young man. We see that he was created to hate, right, by this dude that literally kidnaps him from the village, from all the women. And his entire self-worth comes from his usefulness and his violence. So right now we're talking about like his identity. So thus we're going to get into the clips, right, that you just seen. He was never taught peace or emotional regulation. He doesn't know that. Anger, hatred, anger. You hear him yelling and screaming all the time. Right? It's the volatility. It gives him power. And a lot of people feels like it gives them power. His identity becomes tied to revenge, proving himself. When people like this are raised in hatred, it can also feel very safe. Vulnerability is very scary. Hatred feels very powerful, very controlled, right? And then people are afraid of it. Rage becomes a survival mechanism. I would say for a lot of folks that grow in poor economic places and black and brown folks, rage is a currency. Violence and masculinity is a currency. It is a survivability. That's why you'll see a lot of the horrible things what they say, the racial stuff, right? The angry black dude or the angry Latina, right? You see these things. It's bullshit, but then again, we use it to survive. We don't have the privileges to be soft. So that's why we tease other folks, white folks, about being soft. That's why they tease a lot of light-skinned folks about being soft. That's why we have this hatred for folks that were privileged, because they didn't have to deal with the damage and the emotions that we did. And some of us were never taught emotional regulation. A lot of poor folk, a lot of black and brown folk, we're not taught emotional regulation. There's nothing. It's nothing. Survival. So, got a lot in common with Maul so far. Look at that. A little vengeful, hateful little fucker I am. Obviously, tons of childhood emotional abuse. He was groomed and manipulated his entire life. Isolation, abandonment. There's identity loss, which comes up multiple times. Emotional suppression, constant hypervigilance that he was under. Revenge cycles, deep loneliness, masked by aggression. So a deep loneliness masked by aggression. We see the pain he feels for his mother who passes away, or murdered. His brother who was murdered. We see it in the news show that multiple of his brothers are murdered, his kinfolk. And then we see also his robot that is like sliced in half, and you see him. It's a good. I actually cried during that scene. It's intense. I can't believe I cried for a fucking robot. Crazy. Obviously, he was cut in half. So I showed you a very old clip from the Clone Wars. It's an old clip. And so he was cut in half in the first Star Wars Episode 1 by Obi-Wan. And then you see him like fall apart. And then he like survives. He survives on pure hatred. Holy shit. Can you do that? I think you can. I think there's a lot of people in the world that survive off of pure hatred. Sadly. I think a lot of people were beaten, kidnapped, communities, countries, cities completely blown up and annihilated. And then you wonder why they hate so many people. You wonder why they turn into these certain organizations and wish death to other people. I'm not condoning it, but I get it. I get why people would be so full of hate when you just watched your entire family be eviscerated. That does make sense. Not saying it's right, but it makes sense. So he survives on hatred, and then he's kind of like this ghoul in this trash pit, which is, you're not going to see that scene, but you're going to see him coming back from that, where he grows like legs, and this witch like brings him back in his mind because he's like schizophrenic. And then you see the scene that I show you with his brother, where he can now walk and he can now move, and then he says revenge to Obi-Wan, which is the guy that quote unquote killed him. And this is when you see his identity shatter, and this is when he kind of goes crazy, right? Because his identity was be powerful, to be a warrior, to kill things, and then it shattered because he dies, and he is not that unless he has lost every bit of himself because he was a failure. So he has like a psychosis, psychotic break, but also he's dead. Weird, very weird. Somehow he ends up piecing together like little robot parts and turns himself into a bottom spider. Crazy. So it says the spider legs error, which is crazy. Survives purely through hatred, just hatred and rage. And you hear him like being psychotic and actively angry on this junk planet, builds these like mechanic legs from scraps, becomes very paranoid, obsessed with Obi-Wan. So the spider legs visualize like this dehumanization, this broken identity. I feel like a lot of us go through that. Literally, he's more monster than man. You hear his brother call him a monster, but hatred like kept him alive. And so we move on to the return of Maul, which is him slowly progressing, getting stronger. His brother and him fighting Obi-Wan and the Jedi. And then you eventually see the hatred like pivot even more to where we have now, where he becomes the ruler of Mandalore. So now he's plotting and scheming. His legs get better, get stronger. He gets his powers back. And so now he ends up taking over Mandalore, which starts that whole arc. He gets the Darksaber. He does a bunch of things and kills a bunch of folks so then he can face off Anakin, or so he can face off whoever he needs to face. Right? He's doing all this stuff to bring Sidious to this place so he can defeat Sidious, or so he can defeat Anakin. But who ends up showing up is Ahsoka. That's when we have one of the greatest duels ever. So that is a very interesting like arc. I didn't get into Rebels. Rebels is a future story. That's when Darth Maul dies and he is defeated by Obi-Wan. And that is a very sad, broken Maul who's very alone. He's no Sith. He's no Lord. He has no power. And he's trying to manipulate this young boy to becoming his apprentice. And eventually dies by Obi-Wan. And you see him just kind of relax. And he's like, finally, it's over. Still hatred in his heart, but specifically hoping that Sidious, the one that stole him from his family and mercilessly tortured him to become this monster, you see him like, will the chosen one finally end this all and set peace to the planet? And Obi-Wan says yes. That is supposed to be Luke Skywalker. So, as we get into all that, we're going to get into the scenes now. So I'm going to get away from this, and we're actually going to pivot right in what we were talking about. So I show you the episode in the Clone Wars. I think it was season 4, episode 22. Episode 22. It was 21 where he comes, his brother finds him. Episode 22 when like the witch allows him to like heal his mind and his body, and he just talks about revenge. I wanted you to see like the arc of the revenge, the anger, the hatred, how it makes him like live, which is crazy. And then we get into the next clip, or the multiple clips, where now you see him down and out. He just got into a fight with like these two, goddamn, I forgot what they're called, Inquisitors. So they're people that hunt down Jedi. Doesn't really matter. So he gets into this fight, he survives, and now his leg is hurt, badly damaged. And so you see him badly damaged, beaten up. He just fallen like off of a mountain. And so you hear like these echoes, and it's like hatred. And they're saying things like, we want to take him out. We want to kill him. Sidious. It's all these echoes in his brain of like hatred that forces him to survive. It sounds like, witches in his head. And what ends up happening is he looks down in the water. What do you see in the water? He sees the younger version of himself. Like the young boy who's like, and I think he says like, I'm scared. Or he looks at him, and then Maul's like, I hate you, and then splashes it away. Weakness, right? There's weakness. The young boy was weak. So then you see him kind of shake it off. Then he continues to walk. And then that gets into the next clip where he's like exhausted, and he's continuously walking and exhausted, trying to get back to his crew so they can do what they got to do and get off planet. And then he falls. And then he starts to like visualize. Sorry, I think this is where he visualizes. He just falls in the third part. He visualizes like all these things that are going on. So he sees his past. He sees himself very young, being taken by this devil, Darth Sidious, or aka Palpatine, the Emperor. And his brother's like, don't go. And then he goes with him. And you can see him like wanting to cry. You can see him telling him younger self, don't do it. This isn't it. Don't do it. And you see his brother like, what are you monster? Telling, the bad guy, well, why are you taking him? Don't do this. How did he mind control you? Because that's what he can do. Then you fast forward, and you see him having the PTSD flashback yet again of being killed by Obi-Wan and sliced in half by Obi-Wan. Gross. You hear his heart beating. If you're paying attention to the scene, you can go back and watch it. You hear his heart beating, palpating. Right? This is a panic attack. This is PTSD. This is hypervigilance. This is reliving the traumatic things in your life. This is dissociating and tweaking the fuck out. A lot of folks will be really freaked out when they're reliving a traumatic experience. It doesn't matter what it is. Reliving it is gross and horrific. And then you get to the next part where you see his brother Savage all grown up, and his big brother, right? And Savage and him are fighting Sidious in the Clone Wars, and Sidious kills him, stabs him, both lightsabers right to the chest, and he dies. And his brother, as he's like fading away, says, revenge. Like, avenge me, but also just revenge. Like, get it. And so that was really hard for him to like feel, to watch, right? Just pure anger and hatred now for like the dude who just killed your brother, and that has tortured you your entire life, and then manipulated you, then threw you away for like the new apprentice, Darth Vader. And so you get to the next clip where he is now walking again, and he is so like angry, but also so extremely tired. And when he falls, his face is in the water, he sees the young boy again. And the young boy's like super scared. And he goes, it's okay. I think he says, it's not your fault. Even if he doesn't say that, he said, I'll never let this happen to anyone else. So that's him trying to protect his younger self. So he's at first hates it, weakness, PTSD sets in, some of those memories come back. He hates that he was abused and hurt like this. That rage propels him to do things. And then you see the softness. Darth Maul cry. I don't think I've ever seen him cry. I don't think I've ever seen him show weakness. I've seen him manipulate his way and like act like he's, scared or some shit, but I don't think he's ever really scared. And he cries for the younger version of himself. That's a tough one. For those of you that watched the Loki episode from last week, that I'm talking about, would your younger version be proud of you? Would they be happy for you? Well, I feel like a lot of you would probably say no, but in actuality, I know a lot of you, if you think about it, would say yes. And so a lot of us are doing our best to protect our younger selves from the bullies, the abuse of parents, friends, classmates, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, fiancés, whatever. And you do your best to protect your future self, right? So in that moment, maybe you couldn't. But now that you're bigger, faster, stronger, wiser, now maybe you can protect yourself from these things, these monsters. And so that's his mission now, is to kill Homeboy, to make sure that no one's ever hurt like this ever again, and to set balance to things. Of course, I'm sure Maul wanted power, because that's what he wants, is power. But also it's a young boy that's been grown up and abused and manipulated, so the only thing that will grant you safety is power. And rage is power. And dominance, masculinity, genocide is fucking power. So I bring to you these scenes of sad, broken man from day one. So people are like, why would you like him? He was like a murderer and a villain and like this godfather of like the underworld. I think I like a character that's just sad. I think obviously he's really cool looking and he's really good at dueling and using his sabers, and he has all the coolest fucking scenes. And the voice actor and the actor for him is fantastic. But I think a lot of people can relate to like the hatred. I think a lot of people can relate to losing things continuously, losing your identity, losing your mentor, teacher, professor, your father, your family, being betrayed by the people that were supposed to love you, then losing your brother to the same person that betrayed you once again, losing some friends, losing a lot of your kin, losing his robot. It's just loss. It's just loss. And you can feel it like every time he loses something again. You see his brothers being shot down in the clips that we saw, but you just see, it's just sad. So why am I bringing you guys this stuff? I think a lot of us walk around very hateful. I think a lot of us walk around very angry. A lot of black and brown individuals walk around angry. We don't even know why. Don't even know why as kids. It just feels normal. The way you're indoctrinated in school and life, and you don't have certain things, and you don't have the chances or opportunities, but it's never directly told to you, but you don't have the opportunities. And you know you're fucked. So you're angry. And the anger and violence and the fighting and talking shit and being gross and nasty brings some type of respect. And I know it was me being picked on and bullied mercilessly all the time because I was a chubby, chunky boy and a soft boy, autistic boy. And then you start talking shit. You start, fighting back, getting into fights all the time, man. Fights all the time. And then you hit your growth spur. Then people got to start respecting you, which was really fun. It's like, oh, okay, I went from like 5 foot. Now I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm like 6'2", fucking close to 300 pounds. Yeah, bitch, what'd you say? Yeah, that's what I thought. So you start to have a little bit more fun, and you start to see how the rage or volatility protects you. You see a lot of men, a lot of athletes, the rage helps them. I think a lot of young athletes tap into rage all the time when they're lifting weights. They put on that really pumped up music and they think it's going to really help motivate them. They're tapping into like the rage because that feels like powerful. That gets their heart beating and pumping. And that's what allows them to do these great things. I think after a while you realize it's just toxic as fuck, man. And it's exhausting rage and hatred. I think a lot of us tap into that. We tap into a lot of painful things. I think I remember playing football and I would cry like during the national anthem or beforehand because I would be seeing and feeling certain things that caused me rage. It's traumatic things I would touch into, see, and feel. And that would piss me off. And then I would go out on the field and do what I needed to do. And it caused me to be a crazy son of a bitch. But pretty good at football. Pretty good. So, why do I bring this up? I feel like when we're talking about this rage thing, it very much is a poison pill. So if you think it allows you to propel you to survive, yeah, maybe it does. I'm not going to knock this shit all the time. If that shit's made you survive your environment, okay. Whatever happened in the past, happened in the past. I don't fucking care. What are we doing now? Now that we're not in survival mode, what are we doing? There's no one coming for you. There's no gangs. There's no thugs. There's no violence. There's no beatings. There's no assaults. But you're still snapping on people. What are you doing? You're still blowing up on people. You're still being nasty at people in the shopping mall or your coworkers. You're still, being nasty to your kids that you got. Why are you nasty to your kids? And I know a lot of you are blowing up on your kids or your partner, and then you hate yourself for it because you've become the thing that you never wanted to become, the abuser that once hurt you. So what do we do? Because if you don't try to get better, then the shame just causes more anger, and that causes more irritability, and then it causes you to tweak out even more. So eventually you have to stop the cycle. How do you stop the cycle? Love, vulnerability, companionship, intimacy, friendship, acceptance, accountability, less defensiveness. All those things are extremely fucking hard. Extremely hard. I get it. You're traumatized. It's hard to trust, hard to be vulnerable. I get it. Protect yourself. Survival. I get it. What are we doing? You want things to be better, don't you? How can we make it better? I just told you. So, the poison pill, you think it poisons them, right? You think it poisons you think that this power, this rage will allow you to like seek vengeance and win. But you end up taking the fucking pill too. Now you're dysregulated. Now you're alone. Now you're isolated. Now people don't like you. Now you can't focus. You can't remember things. But you're strong if you're powerful, but only for a few split seconds. And then you're tired. And it can last with you, this anger, this hatred, this rage for 72 hours after a blow up. And you've already destroyed all your relationship. What have you done? What have you done? You have to stop it. I get that a lot of my clients and even me, there's no ability to stop it because you're constantly being under attack at your job, at your work, at your PhD. You maybe feel attacked by God. You don't understand that you're cursed. You feel cursed. You're unlucky. You've got health issues. Your family's got health issues. Your mom's dying. Your brother's dying. It's too much. It's nothing but hatred. Maybe you dislike racism. Maybe you dislike men for all the horrible shit that they do and all the abuse that they commit to women specifically. It's gross. Hatred, anger. But then it ends up pushing you further and further away from the actual probably good people and further away from the vulnerable bits of yourself that were hurt and injured. And so if you can't soothe the adult self, how the fuck are we going to soothe the young self that actually went through all this stuff? And if we can't soothe them, how the hell are we going to connect with these others? Because otherwise, you're just masking. Because otherwise, it's just a defense mechanism that you're allowing people to see. It's not the true version of you. Again, only show the true version of you when you feel safe and comfortable to do so. But like my client told me today, they have it written on their phone, on their wall, whatever the hell he said. They eventually got to let somebody in. They eventually got to be vulnerable with someone. Eventually they have to let somebody in. You got to do it when you're safe. But how safe is safe? I don't know. That's up to you. So this poison pill concept, very much do I believe that me and other people were ingesting that continuously, thinking that it made us stronger, but in actuality, it just completely destroys all your innards. So at what point are you no longer protecting yourself? Think about this. Write it down. Those of you who are listening, write it down. I'm trying to give you homework every lesson now. I'm trying to give you a saber now too. Remember, tag 2 people, comment saber, like follow. I'll ship it to you. I'll DM whoever, I'll spend it out, DM you. Okay? Got it? Good. At what point are you making decisions that are emotional instead of healthy? At what point are you hurting people who never hurt you? At what point do you figure it out? At what point are you living for revenge instead of yourself? I get it. You want to be bigger, faster, stronger. You want to be richer. You want to prove people things. You lost your identity like Maul. Psychosis sets in. Maybe you get injured. Maybe you're not the smartest person anymore. Maybe someone dies and now you're depressed, but you lose part of yourself. Maybe you're like my family that is losing parts of their country and their souls in South Lebanon. Maybe it's like a lot of Hispanic individuals who are getting detained by ICE. Maybe like a lot of Asian folks that are being kicked out of the country. Maybe like a lot of queer folks that are being beaten and brutalized and murdered for just being different and loving certain people that others, heteronormative folks, heterosexual folks, don't accept. There are a lot of reasons to be angry. I get it. But what are we doing? So, is it benefiting you? If it is, oh shit, well, let's talk about it. If it's benefiting you, let's use that motherfucker. So then when you Nas, don't ever be angry. Don't ever be angry. No. If you listen to me, I teach my girls to be angry. Well, Nas, you done fucking me up. You tell me not to be angry, but then you also saying you teaching the women to be angry. We got to choose one, Nas. The 1 + 2 is 7. Huh? That's girl math. A lot of my boys are never taught the emotional regulation, love, kindness, and softness. So I'm telling you as my boys, I need you to focus on a couple things. After you make it out of whatever the fuck it is, never say one thing. Never say the word, I'll kill you. Never, ever say that. And do your best to never put your hands on anyone. Use your mind. Use your fucking mind. You have this big, beautiful mind. Use it. Well, maybe you're going psychotic like Darth Maul. Oh, okay. Well, maybe you're not going to use your mind. You're fucked up. Use your mind. Why are you always using your fists? What's that going to do? You're going to land you in jail? It's going to land you broken and beaten? What are you doing? Be cautious with alcohol and drugs. I get a lot of neurodivergent folks, a lot of addiction issues in our population. I get it. 50, 60%. I get it. The alcohol is a magnifier. Whatever you're feeling, if it's anger or sadness, is going to magnify that feeling. So be very cautious on what you drink and when. If you're happy and bubbly, having a good time with people, friends, drink whatever the fuck you want. When you're sad, suicidal, self-harming, angry, vengeful, I would not drink. I would not do that. And when it comes to you doing other drugs, I'm not talking about all that shit, but be cautious on what you put in your body and what you're doing to regulate, because you are just coping. You're not actually solving the thing. You are coping. So be very cautious on your substance abuse related issues. I'm not saying anything too bad about it, but it is a cope. It's a bit of a coward's way out. Find better, healthier ways to navigate that mental space. Maybe you're going to do some medication management. Maybe there's some exercise. Maybe there's a little bit of therapy. Maybe it's group therapy. Maybe it's ADHD stuff. Maybe it's support group stuff for grief. Maybe you're doing fucking pottery. I don't fucking know. Maybe you're doing Legos. Too expensive, so you're not doing Legos. You're selling drugs to get the Legos. Oh, well, you got to do what you got to do. A couple feet pics. I'm going to shame you. So as we pivot away from that with my girlies, they're very much taught not to be angry, to be docile, to be compliant. And that's why a lot of the young girlies are masking a lot of their neurodivergencies, because I talked about in the previous podcast, specifically the Zootopia one, that they are trained in a much different way because of the genderedness of it. And so a lot of my girlies feel weird tapping into any anger or letting any anger out or saying that they dislike the way their parents treated them. Well, they're not bad people. I didn't say they're bad people, but you can at least say that you didn't fucking like the way they beat the shit out of you. I mean, I feel like that. I feel like we can say that. Well, I don't think that's too dramatic to say. I think it's okay if you admit that they scared the shit out of you. This is what you just told me. They scared the shit out of you. And the violence, the anger, the hostility, the abuse, the slaps on the face, whatever it is. I'm not going to get into more because I don't want to trigger anyone. I think you can say that you didn't like that. And then you're a little upset and angry at it. So we make up excuses for a lot of folks, even in our relationships or friends. I made an excuse for one dirtbag that was friends with me for a while, and now they're no longer friends with me. You're on the podcast. We make excuses for people and their poor behavior all the time. And I, as a 36, 37, 38 year old, I don't fucking know how old I am. Girl math. I'm still figuring out who are the good people and who are the bad people, who are the people that are going to be with you, and even under consultation and advisement from others. I still allowed things to go the way they did. So, why do I tell you this? For my girlies, I need the anger and the rage to come out. Kind of like you see Devin, the apprentice. That's why I put that in there, because I feel like I'm doing that with a lot of my young women. It's helping them connect with that. A healthy amount of anger and rage, so that way when needed, when called upon, when they need to demand boundaries, when they need to demand their needs, wants to be met, to be heard, you need to speak the fuck up. Maybe you'll be called a bitch. Maybe you'll be called neurotic or crazy. Or the C word. But they will respect you, because you ain't going to just do whatever the hell they say. We need to be able to say things. And so I end up teasing a lot of my girlies in group. And I told them, and I tease them a lot. And I tease a lot of my girlies that I work with. And they always allow me to. And then at certain moments, I will allow them to know why I do it. And in group, always at the crescendo of it, I'm teasing you and I'm talking shit with you, because if you stand up to me and we continue to work on you pushing back on me, then you will be able to stand up to anyone. If you can stand up to this 6'3", 350-pound person, I'm 320 now, thank God. Hopefully I can get under 300 and I won't die of a fucking heart attack. And then I can go to Orlando, go on these goddamn rides. If you can stand up to me, if you can say, no, go fuck yourself, Dr. Nas, that isn't right, or I don't like the way you said that, or hey man, this is what I think you meant, or no, you that was wrong, or hey, you teasing me and that's wrong too, right? If you can, because I say a lot of funny things that are cannon fodder for you to correct me, and my clients know that. They're like, I know you're saying that to piss me off, yeah, but I need you to push back, because I need to teach you to unleash your mouth. You're no one's pet. You're no one's servant. You're not below anyone. As I said in the previous pod, you belong everywhere. My one client said, well, if I'm in a room with a bunch of murderers, then you better be the best motherfucker. I'm not finishing the rest of that sentence. Jackass. Girlie that sent me that. So, and from my boys, the anger, I remember one boy, he said, I gotta be angry, hostile. Why? Because I ain't soft. Okay. And I'm ice cold. You always got to be ice cold? I said, I'm not telling you to leave the angry version of you and just kill it. I just don't think it needs to be the number one thing that's always present with you. I think that you can use him when needed, and it needs to be called upon. In certain moments, they will be needed to be called upon to protect you. The rage, the hostility, your voice, the tension in your muscles, in your body, in your voice. You'll need that. You shouldn't need it anymore. Only called upon at specific times. Very intermittently. The other version should be able to step forward. The bubbly one, the kind one, the professional one, whatever it is. You don't need the angry one as much anymore after you get out of survival and obviously a very toxic environment. I know many of us are probably still in those. So, this is what I wanted to talk about. I think a lot of my young men walk around very angry at people, other men, white folks, privileged folks, their fathers, their mothers, their abusers. And it just slowly just makes them very defensive. It makes them very guarded, very avoidant. And it makes them very hard to love in relationships, because it doesn't matter what gender, either gender, they'll get into this relationship with this hostility, this trauma, this thing of self-hatred, self-disgust, unworthiness, for those of you that are Avengers fans. When, I want to say Odin, there, I almost said Greg Oden. He's a black dude, basketball player. Odin, Thor and Loki's dad, he strips Thor of his powers. I can't remember, I think it was the first Thor movie. He said, "You're unworthy! You're unworthy of your powers. You're unworthy of the..." And I was like, it makes you want to cry, because you're like, holy shit, I've never been so ashamed of my... You're unworthy! So a lot of us feel unworthy, and the self-hatred in which we were taught and the loss of identity makes us feel like that. And so it's hard for us to connect. Very hard for us to connect. because we believe that others will hurt us. And so we need that supervillain in us to be present, to protect us in those moments. And then someone treats us with some softness. We don't trust it. They're lying. We don't trust it. What's the game you're running? What's the fucking con you're running here, my guy? Oh, okay. Yeah, no. You want some money? Oh, you want some coochie? What would you want? No. So a lot of folks will be very cautious of like nice, kind people because we don't see them very often. And as neurodivergent people, we have high rates of PTSD, very high rates of PTSD. And a lot of my girlies, some of my boys too, but a lot of my girlies, a lot of you listening, are very sensitive individuals. Even my very, very strong, older black and brown women, very sensitive individuals. As soon as you get past the toughness, the facade, right? The anger, the weapons. As soon as you get past all that shit, it's a beautiful young child waiting to be loved, to be cared for, to be held. You know, metaphorically, I ain't holding no one. I ain't fucking touching you. But you can see it. And they just cry in your office, in your arms, metaphorically. And it's just the saddest thing to watch these strong individuals be so tired, in so much pain, so disregarded, so unloved. Many of my girlies are so sensitive, like kids. But it's forced out of them, beaten, repressed, redacted. Some of my boys too, very sweet as well. All my boys were very sweet. But my girlies more so because they'll go to their men or their partners to help them regulate. But my girlies were never taught to regulate. They were only taught to repress. And so they come to me dysregulated all the time, texting me all the time, trying to figure out what can they do? What can they do? And most of the time they just want to be heard by me. And it helps. But there's only so much that I can do just listening to you. So now we have to implement things. And if you're neurodivergent, maybe deep breathing isn't the thing for you. Maybe meditation and mindfulness and being in your body is gross. Maybe it's too hard. Maybe it's not stimulating enough. Maybe your body has been traumatized your entire life and now the therapist is telling you to go in your body. The fuck do you know what happened to my body? I'm not going in there. I feel like crying right now. I'm doing my best not to. And so grounding and meditation could be multiple things, just grounding in general. So for those of you that were never taught to regulate, compassion and patience is one. Give yourself time to regulate. Tell your partner, your friends, I need a minute. I need 5 minutes. I need 20 minutes. I need a half hour. I need to just go in the baño, the bathroom, a couple minutes. And fucking breathe. Maybe you can't breathe just like I did. It's a deep breath in through the nose. My nose is all plugged up. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. When you breathe, I want you to focus on your shoulders. Relax them. Relax your facial muscles when you breathe out. Maybe you need something in your hands when you're breathing. I just worked with someone like this over the phone last night. Is maybe you need to have something tactile. So maybe you got your fidget toy with you, your squishmallow with you. Maybe you're going for like a small walk outside and you're breathing. Maybe you're rocking and stimming on the floor, doing your floor time and you're breathing. Maybe you're doing your stretches, yoga, not yoga, and then you're doing the breathing while you lean into the stretch. Maybe you have the TV show on and you do the stretch and the breathing. Maybe you need to do multiple things and it's not just all visualization. Not all of us can do the visualization. And that can crash out a lot of my ADHD girlies because they can't do it and they get very ashamed, they get very angry. It's so sweet. I got a couple of girlies that just laugh because they can't go inside. So they need more stimuli, I found out. Maybe it's a cold towel on the face, hot towel on the face. Maybe it's a cough drop. Maybe it's a good scented perfume or lotion with the breathing. Maybe it's just watching one of your favorite shows. Maybe it is the Squishmallow. Maybe it is your weighted blanket. Maybe it is your weighted stuffed animal. Maybe it is the 3D lightsaber that you got from me, or a gift that your partner or friend got, or the locket that reminds you of your mother, or the ashes, whatever it is. Find out what your grounding thing is. Find out what makes you feel safe. Well, Dr. Nas, nothing makes me feel safe. Well, girlie, we got to figure that out. Something makes you feel less terrified, maybe not safe, less terrified than the other moments in your day-to-day life? What is it? I know a lot of us struggle with emotional identification and maybe even understanding what we feel when we feel. So maybe you're outside going for a walk and you don't even know that you're happy and bubbly and walking around doing your thing, but your partner notices it. But you don't even clock it. Register it. Do your best to pay attention to those things that bring you joy and then implement it in your regulation. It should also be known that co-regulation's a thing. Well, hopefully Darth Maul doesn't take this long to put his saber together. Maybe 2. Equal 1. The power. Revenge. It's the sweetest thing. So maybe you do co-regulation. So a lot of my neurodivergent folks love to be co-regulated. And that could be just be hanging out with your partner or friend. That could be chilling, vibing. That could just be breathing in the same room. And so a lot of us have that person that when they are there, when they are present, they bring calmness. You know everything's going to be okay. We all have those people. That has forever been my father. When you know they're in the plate, maybe not now as disabled as, he can't do nothing now. Oh, and now I need some help. He can't get out of bed. So I know I'm a piece of shit. I'm an ableist. But for a long, long time, when you knew he was there, everything was going to be fine. And my mother treated him the same way as well, too. When you knew he was there, everything would be fine, be taken care of, whatever it was. We all have that person. Maybe it's your dog. Maybe it's you doing a puzzle. Who knows? But co-regulation and doing something with your partner, co-regulating, or doing nothing at all, just existing in the same space, fantastic. So we're getting back to the anger and the rage. For a lot of my boys, it's the same thing as well, too. I need you to be able to find things that help you regulate and do your best to breathe, to calm, to relax, to take a step away. When do you know to do that? Well, you probably need to do that, when you're identifying physically what the fuck is going on. So, homework assignment, like 2 or 3. I feel like this is 3 now because I just told you to do the grounding. I also want you to ask the questions. Well, why is this anger good for me? Are my behaviors good for me? Are my thoughts good for me? That are so hateful. Then it's grounding stuff. The third thing would be is try to self-scan your body. So in this thing, when you get angry, what happens? Do you get the tension headache in the temple in the front? Do you feel your eyes clench and twist? Well, I don't know about twist, but you do the scrunchy thing. Is your breathing increased? Is your heart rate increased? Do you feel something coursing up your neck or your blood pumping up your neck or your veins? The other day, I thought I was having a fucking heart attack. I was so angry. Scared for my client angry. And I was like, I think I can feel like something in my elbow and my shoulder. I'm like, I'm having a fucking heart attack. This is it. Baby Jesus. I'm coming. Oh my God. So dramatic. So yeah, scan physically. Are your toes clenched? Are your fists clenched? One of my boys, you tell me, start clenching the fists. I'm like, hold up now. What you gonna do with them? You gonna kick my ass, boy. I'll kick you right in the fucking head. I tell you that. You ain't punching me, motherfucker. And so we get to opening the hands and relaxing, right? Opening the hands, opening up the body and the posture. I would do your best to scan. So for a lot of you, maybe you can scan the body first and see that you're getting tense, see that you're getting anxious, see that you're getting overwhelmed or overstimulated. You excuse yourself from the room. I've done this a lot in my adulthood. Excuse myself from the room. If it's in a work setting, excuse myself from the room. That's one of the few times I'll actually excuse myself, because if I don't leave, I will hurt someone. I remember one time at my old job at St. Mary's University, I was one of the counselors there, and they were taking some money from me, like $5,000, for me to seek supervision and consultation. And my old boss gave it to me, but I guess it wasn't written in the contract. So the new superiors took over and they said, hey man, we're taking this money for you to sign your contract. I said, what? I need this money. You guys only pay me like scraps, $37,000, and now you're going to take $5,000 from me so I can just have a job? And they were saying this and that, trying to get me to understand stuff and the rules and the money that they're not going to give me. I said, I need to leave. She said, no, we need to talk about this. I said, I need to leave. So I stood up. She said, Nazir, sit back down. She said, you want me to sit back down? I could feel my heart fucking pulsing. And 2 seconds later, I'm cussing her and everyone else and slamming doors. I get back to my office. I'm shaking. I can barely fucking walk. I just got done cussing everyone. I'm fired. I know I'm fired. I called my dad. I'm like, I fucked up. I can't breathe. I'm freaking out. I just fucking cussed out like fucking 10 white people. I'm going down, bro. And he's like, we'll figure it out. Don't do nothing. Don't touch no one. Get home. So then we have some consultations, right? My boss comes in, talks to me real quick. He's like, hey, we'll talk to you tomorrow. I get called into meetings. I get reprimanded, written up, all this other shit. Hey, I'm on some strikes. And I didn't apologize for shit. You took $5,000 from me. Fuck you. You got a little scared of me? Yeah, okay. Well, imagine how scared I am losing $5,000. I don't get paid shit. I didn't apologize for that. Why do I tell you this? I hated that. I hated the way it felt. I hated the rage. I didn't know if I was going to control my physical body and not hurt someone. I don't like that. I've been in enough fights in my life. I've hurt enough people. I don't want to hurt. I'll never touch anyone ever again. Haven't touched anyone since like 2010. Never do it again. So, why do I tell you this? Rage feels so good. It's intoxicating. It's powerful. It's overwhelmingly powerful. You feel 50 times stronger. I smile while I'm talking about it because it's magnificent, the rage. And then immediately it's terrible. Immediately it's terrible. You see the damage you've caused in your wake, and you're completely ashamed and hateful of self. Why did I tell you this? It's like Maul, we all have our trauma wounds, and we all have this like PTSD things that haunt us. His is what other people did to him. Some of us is what we've done, the shame we've carried. Maybe it's some of us having autistic meltdowns or ADHD rage and raging when things don't go according to plan or something's taken from us. Maybe it's you with your partner and you keep telling them to do the certain thing or the dishes or to put their clothes away or to change the kids or to clean the food or set the table up or take the trash out. Fucking take the trash out. And a lot of my boys will be like, I don't know why she's crazy. She's crazy, Nas. Is she crazy? Is she? Or did you drive her crazy because the million different things that you forgot to do invalidated her and they were simple things that you could have just did, but you're an idiot. But you think she's freaking out on you about the coffee. It's not about the coffee. It's about the 50 other things that you forgot. And it's about the cognitive load that you put on her. Or him. So the rage just isn't about the one thing. I like to say that anger is usually because of lots of cuts. It's death by small incisions. I also feel like anger is always like a secondary emotion. Many people will correct me on that. That's completely fine. You can go fuck yourself. I feel, right? This isn't a clinical term because it's a feeling. But when I'm working with people, when they're hurt, when they're angry, they're normally hurt. Someone said something, someone did something, something happened, and they were frustrated or hurt or disappointed, and then they become angry. You're not just immediately angry. Something forced you into it. You're not just immediately happy. Something, stimuli, forced you into it. So I feel like anger and a lot of emotions, they are primary emotions, but there's usually something that happened first instead of the rage. I love when you squint the lip a little bit. You lift it. You do a little winky stroke thing. Maybe some of you will agree with that. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to think about what is that thing that caused you to be angry. I'm angry. All right, motherfucker, why? Huh? Why? Well, I don't know. Well, sit your dumb ass down and think about it. Dumbass. That ends up being the most fun with my clients, specifically my boys. She's trying to figure it out. My girlies, they normally know why. It just takes them a second. And so I get to just kind of like gaslight them and have some fun and help them express their rage. And then we calm the rage down. And then we help them articulate themselves better and explain to their people, their partners, about why they are angry. And it's not about the shoes being here. It's not about the table, the trash being it's all of it. The years of it. For my boys, it's usually a little bit different. It's a lot of past stuff, a lot of trauma stuff, a lot of defense mechanisms. My girlies as well too. So when we're looking at Maul's character, it shows us the rage is intoxicating and allows you to survive. I'm never going to shit on your rage. Allowed you to survive. And that's how you got here to me. Whether I be your therapist or your mentor or your teacher or the podcaster, it allowed you to live. Now you choose a different way. Different way moving forward. Better way. Ain't gotta be no fucking Jedi, but you sure as fucking gotta be no Sith with their yellow ass eyes and the devil horns, you know. You got a different way. You know, be a Pokemon or some shit. You'll be a little jelly roll. It's much funner being on this side. But know when you need to tap into rage, she's always there. When you need her. Not all the time. I talk about Maul, and specifically you see Devon, the young girlie, which her father-like figure, her master, was killed. What you don't know is that Maul, I didn't show the scene, allowed him to be killed, but they were both going to be killed anyways by Darth Vader. But the dad dies. You see her scream. You see the rage and the fear. You see that she tries to fight this guy off, and eventually Maul gives her the saber, and she starts using it. You see the hatred build and build. Get to the next scene where you see her wanting to fight Vader, and you hear her scream, "I will kill him." And you hear that demonic voice come out, the rage. Intoxicating. You cut to the last scene of the season where you see Maul sit down, and a lot of it's been a con because he needs a partner to defeat people, right? He needs someone by his side. He's also very lonely and always looking for a student to teach. He's very professional, very Godfather-like, very Soprano-like. And you see her clench the saber, the exact one I'm holding. I'm ready. And he looks at her. Gotcha. Rage loves to take hold. I'm not shitting on Maul, but rage does love to take hold of you, like Maul takes hold of people, like Sidious took hold of people. It takes hold of a lot of people, good people. And losing people to death, to cancer, to COVID, to many things, partnerships, to being cheated on, can cause a lot of anger, hostility. A lot. Poison you. Trick you out of what you really want. Be cautious when you're angry. Don't make any choices when you're angry. Do your best to shut the fuck up when you're angry. Because you're going to say some shit you don't want to say. And you ain't going to be able to get out of it. If it's bad enough, you ain't going to be able to get out of it. Be cautious when you're angry. I understand that your trauma may force you to be more angry and reactive to others. Not an excuse when you get older. If you're older fucking than 25, there's no fucking excuse. I don't give a fuck. There's no excuse. You need to learn to work on your shit. There's a couple excuses, but you got to do your best to work on your shit. So I show you this thing with the girly, because a lot of you that listen are women or femme presenting. And obviously, I have 3 women's groups now that'll be started up in the end of summer. I'll probably open up my first men's group. And of course, I have my grad group. But the girlies groups, I feel like Maul a lot of the time because I'm forcing them to let go, use their rage. Let go, use your rage. Let go, use your rage. Fight back, fight back, fight back, fight back. And they're scared. But you have to fight. I don't want them to be angry. I'm not trying to manipulate anyone, but we have to learn to fight. We can't just be bullied. We have to learn to fight your own mind. The ruminations, the obsessions, the hatred. I'm ugly, I'm dumb, I'm fat, I'm stupid, I'm worthless. I'll never be nothing other than this idiot. I'll never be nothing other than what my body is and what it can provide people. And then you don't even like your body because of what's happened to it or how people see you. So imagine trying to get therapy with me. It's very difficult because I have to pump you up from the inside out on things that you've never fully enjoyed or been affirmed. But then eventually they trust me. Eventually they smile. Eventually we get to talk about whatever it is, and we work through it, and we work through it, and we work through it, and the nervous system calms. And then I introduce anger in a healthy way, in a protective way, in a I ain't taking no shit way. And making sure that they're safe in their surroundings too as well too. I can't have motherfuckers being angry like when they're at work or like there's a bunch of strong dudes around. You can't do that. Time and place to let anger come out. But it's not true anger. They're just making sure that you stand on shit. But stand on shit means like you actually stand up for yourself. 10 toes down, they call it. Grounded. And I do provide a decent amount of that because anger is not necessarily a bad emotion, even like inside out. It just depends. You can't let it take over everything. I got a lot of people that are angry because they're going through stuff and people don't understand. They don't care to understand, or they talk about some stupid thing that doesn't even matter. I get it. They're angry at themselves for not completing their schooling fast enough, making enough money, their jobs, taking care of their family. They're angry at themselves. They're disappointed in themselves. What does that even serve? How does it serve you just being so hateful at yourself? How do you even learn to grow? I need to be perfect. Do you? Is there room for error? What have you been taught? Who's lied to you saying you can't mess up? The world. The world. Get the fuck out of here. Who's lied to you? Your mom, your dad, your uncle, society? Who? You can fail. Everyone fails. You don't need to always be angry with that devil in your head. So like Maul, we're going to take it back, we're going to close up. The devil's in his head. Propels him. I want you to replace that person, homework assignment number 4. I want you to think of characters that you enjoy, whether it be books, music, movies, and shows. I want you to take all the characters that you like, and I want you to take bits and pieces of them. Their intelligence, their cunning, their strong, their strength, their love, their passion, their hair. I don't give a fuck. Take whatever you want from the people that you enjoy. Reading, watching. And I want you to implement them into your personality. So that way when you code switch and you assume this identity, right? A lot of us autistically put on this identity. That it's like the strong one. It's all these good pieces. Like when you're scared and you're doing a speech, you got to show up. You got to stand on something. You got to talk about something. The identity assumes. And let them take over. Let that voice knock down the one that's telling you you're worthless. You're terrible. You're hated. You're being perceived in a bad way. Your body's gross. Let that one fight back. The one with the characters that you love. That are strong. Gorgeous. This is a version of narrative therapy. So I want you to think about some characters. I want you to implement that and add that voice to your head to counteract the negative one that's been there since you were young. The one that's telling you, fight, be angry, be scared, be vigilant. You suck, you're terrible. Don't trust them. Everyone will hurt you. You need something to calm that shit down, my guy. So, you've got about 4 homework assignments there. You're more than welcome to comment that on YouTube, Instagram when I start posting these. Again, comment Saber, tag 2 people, like and share. I'll check that out. Whoever did that, I'll eventually, within 30 days, I go on vacation in June. We'll send out a Saber, the 3D Darth Maul Saber. Comes apart. It's kind of dope. 22 hours to make, 24 hours to make. But I will send it out for free. For free. All right, everyone. This is the pod about Maul. I feel like I hit all the things that I wanted to hit. And just trying to educate people on what to do, how to get out of these things, how to back away from like toxic anger, and how to use someone like Maul, who a lot of people like fall in love with, but also pay attention to his love, his kindness, and the bits and pieces of himself that he saw that were destroyed. So again, remember, I talk about these things. The scene represents these things. I've got about 3 or 4 more pods I'm going to do on my own. Then I'll have my niece join me for like the Lion King. And then I'll have some returning guests, which will be a lot of black women first, a lot of my homegirls. And then we'll add in a bunch of other folks after that. I want to figure out my vibe with a bunch of good friends, good therapists, strong black women. And then I'll figure out how I want to ask and show up in interviews with other folks after I figure out things. So much love, appreciation for you listening. I know it's going to be a little over an hour. I'm sorry. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for surviving. And if you were super angry and violent, it got you here. Now we change. And if you don't have any of the hostility in you, I need a smidge to come out. You have to be able to protect you now. Like Maul said, I'll never let him do this to anyone ever again. Promise you need to make to yourself. But you use your mind. Not your fists. Nothing. No manipulation. Use your mind. Much love, much appreciation, and remember to take care of yourselves. And if you don't, we'll get there. We'll get there one day. Okay. Peace, homies.